So ad costs keep going up every single year. Lead quality isn't getting any better, and yet the common advice is to buy more leads, run more ads, and you're gonna make more money. Well, the reality is that buying more leads isn't gonna fix your business, and today I'm gonna be explaining exactly why. And by the end of the video, you'll know exactly what you can focus on to close more deals that are actually sitting right under your nose as we speak. So for you that actually have enough experience within the home improvement space, you already know by now that you guys are essentially a sales and marketing company who, also happen to do home improvement, right? And with that being said, I've seen a lot of companies kind of assume that growth comes with volume. More leads actually equals more revenue. But if that was actually the case, then my question to you would be, well, why are the companies that kind of spend thousands upon thousands on leads still struggling with kind of very predictable revenue growth? Because, at the end of the day, more leads equals more revenue, right? Well, the reason for this is because for a lot of mid to large size home improvement out there, their biggest problem isn't actually having a lack of leads. It's what happens after the lead actually comes in that's their biggest issue. So, if we're just being honest, like most mid to large home improvement companies, you're spending the majority of your time and effort refilling your pipeline, but you probably don't spend even half of that time actually optimizing what's already in it. And the best analogy that I can give to kind of explain what's going on is, imagine you have this kind of big bucket, filled with water, but there's a bunch of holes in it. Now, at the end of the day, because you guys are, a decently sized home improvement company, you have a pretty big hose. But, if you really needed to get water from this bucket, wouldn't it make sense to fix the leaks before trying to pour even more water in it? So the statistics show that for even the most established companies, less than 2% of leads that come through marketing channels are going to directly turn into a closed deal. So that means 98 out of every 100 leads won't actually convert, and then they get lost or they're either, completely ignored. So if you don't have, not just any process, but a super effective system to actually maximize the leads that you've already paid for, then you're always going to feel like you need more. And look, it's absolutely not just you. Some of the biggest home improvement companies in the world don't do much with the 98% of leads that don't convert because probably just like you, they assume that they're dead, right? But a lot of the time that's not actually the case, because for many of those leads that came through the funnel, the one thing that we can say for absolute certain is that they were definitely interested at one point. But in many cases, the timing wasn't right, or they got busy, or, they just simply weren't followed up with correctly. And we've seen that reactivating even just a tiny percentage of those lost leads can add hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars to your top line. And the best part is that you don't have to spend another dollar on marketing because they're leads that you've already paid for. But I will say there is a catch, because it's not just a case of sending out a couple of emails or following up with these people randomly. There is a correct way to actually do this. And when it's done right, it can be one of the most profitable growth systems for your business. And for the companies that do figure out how to do this the right way, they're able to completely separate themselves from the ones that are kind of constantly chasing leads just to be able to stay afloat. And I mean, I've spoken with tons and tons of home improvement business owners. And for me, I think this idea is literally one of the biggest differentiators between companies that are kind of stuck in this constant cycle of expensive lead generation and the ones that are actually able to scale their businesses predictably. Now, with that being said, on this channel, I'm going to be looking to provide different tips and tricks, as well as different frameworks of thinking about sales and growth for home improvement businesses. So if you like the video and you want more just like this, then please give this channel a follow.